So hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 10 of our F1 Manager save here on season... hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 10 of season 2 here on our F1 Manager 23 save. Now if you didn't watch the last episode, go back and watch that one. There was quite a lot of incidents in that last race in Montreal, which resulted in Esteban Ocon DNFing, as did Lewis Hamilton, Albon and Piastri. Lance Stroll won the race. He won his home Grand Prix, Lance Stroll, so round of applause for Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin. Checo Perez second, Max Verstappen only good enough for fifth. We did score a point in Andretti Cadillac with Pierre Gasly in P10. To bring you up to date on the standings, Red Bull are running away with it in the constructors. They are around 130 odd points in front of Aston Martin. We're in P5 at the moment. We're sort of just in front of Williams. That's sort of where we are on track. Just can't quite get the Mercedes at this moment, but I'm hoping that the new upgrades are going to help us in that, because we have had some new upgrades for this weekend, and it is the side pods, which are the upgrades that's come on. Now, we were doing like a couple of upgrades waiting, but the side pods I felt were quite significant, and as you can see on the right hand side on the Car 1 Performance, they have made quite a difference to the car, so I'm hoping these new side pods are going to do really well. We did have as well a new chassis design come on, which we had a little look at. Was it really worth doing? It possibly is, but it's not going to be in time for this next Grand Prix, so we'll have to wait a little longer for that one. And the next Grand Prix, of course, is Spielberg in Austria, the Red Bull Ring. 71 laps round here. It is a sprint weekend, I believe, as well. It is, and we're looking at a little bit of rain on Saturday for the sprint, so something to be aware of. 71 laps round here. As we've said, the expected strategy is a 2-stop, but you can try a 1-stop. I'll have a look at when we get into the weekend at what we're doing with what. And the car attributes, top speed and DRS are very, very important. So that's caught you up to date on everything. I'm going to get through practice 1, and I'll see you for the qualifying for the Austrian Grand Prix. Shocking qualifying again. Pierre Gasly out in Q1 in P17. Not ideal at all. Esteban Ocon only managing to get P14. This track may not suit us. Fernando Alonso qualified on pole in Q1. Can we take that? Can he take that form into Q2? And more importantly, can we improve? Because by God, do we need to. And this is it then. Final lap in Q2. And as we come to the end, it's P13. We are now considering some grid penalties, to be fair, because it doesn't look like this is going to be our track in this season, to be fair, with the car. So we're going to have a look at some grid penalties. But yeah, P13 as we just speed it on towards the end. I'm aware we didn't show you too much of that, but to be fair, there wasn't too much to show you. We finished P13. We've got the sprint coming up. Let's see if we can make any ground in that. But Fernando Alonso tops Q2 as well. Right then, guys. So it is time for the sprint, and we are going to be taking full sets of grid penalties for both cars on Sunday. This is a bit tactical, to be fair, because I think if we take these now, I don't think we're going to need any more for the rest of the season, barring any massive accidents. Both cars starting on the soft compounder tyre. We reckon that's the way to go. But 13th and 17th, especially Esteban Ocon, this might be our best chance of getting some points this weekend. We were expecting rain, none's come, so let's get to 5 red lights for the sprint race in Austria.
We're ready for 24 laps around the Red Bull Ring in what should be a great sprint.
Drivers certainly don't shy away from overtaking on the circuit, meaning we should be in for a hotly contested competition here in Austria.
Here in Austria, we're all ready to go for the sprint. It's lights out and away we go.
Where we're going straight away, we can see Checo Perez getting away rather well. Lance Stroll in P2, Verstappen in P3. Is Verstappen going to come through the first corner in front? He is, and he's side by side all the way up the hill. Max Verstappen looking to try and get past the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll. Remember, Fernando Alonso topped Q1 and Q2, but couldn't replicate that in Q3 as Lance Stroll just about holds on. Meanwhile, Esteban Ocon is in P13. He's held his position off the start, as we can see, and he's on the bike of Nico Hülkenberg in the Haas at this moment in time. Pierre Gasly will be looking to move forward. Ultimately, doesn't really matter as long as we manage to keep the car intact, because we're starting from the back tomorrow anyway. Ocon's really the one that I'm hoping is going to be able to make some moves and maybe get into the points paying positions. We've got a yellow flag on track, and that looked like a very unsafe rejoin. I think it might have been Yuki Tsunoda in at the Hugo Boss. Let's have a little look at this. So Yuki Tsunoda in P18, he's side by side with the McLaren, who just goes wide. Yuki Tsunoda in the Hugo Boss. I bet Daniel Ricciardo wasn't the most impressed with him coming back onto the circuit like that. But as we come towards the end of lap 1 in the sprint race, we can see Perez in battling with Lance Stroll. Max Verstappen dropping back a little bit. Ocon in P13. Gasly in P16. Our cars are the only cars on the soft compounder tyre. Lap 2. Lap 3, and we're back with Pierre Gasly, who is battling with the McLaren of Oscar Piastri all the way up the hill. Will he be able to get him down the inside here? In comes Pierre Gasly, late braking, nearly goes crashing into the back of his teammate, holds it quite well. He's going to get DRS as well, and Esteban Ocon, he's going to have to start making some moves in a little while. As we can see, Ocon and Gasly now P13, P14, it's boding well. At this moment in time, we're going to give both of them the ERS battle assist. Gasly's got that move done, and now he's looking at the back of the Andretti of Esteban Ocon. Perez still leads from Stroll, and there's a decent gap to Alonso and Verstappen in 3rd and 4th. Got to say, as we come on to lap 7, watching Ocon and Gasly go at it like this, I can't say I'm enjoying this, as they nearly make contact. Ocon really nearly made contact there. I'd like Ocon to step on it a little bit now. We're going to start telling our two guys to deploy. Try and get forward a little bit. I'd like to get past these two Haasers if we possibly can. Maybe catch up with Norris and Russell. But on lap 7, our two Andretti's keeping it clean, keeping it fair. But it's very, very close driving. And as we come on to lap 10, we can see Esteban Ocon. He's up into P12, and we're watching as well Pierre Gasly behind him. Let's have a little look at this, because he's on the back of the Haas of Nico Hülkenberg. We're making these tyres last at this moment in time. It must be said, we are making the soft tyres work for us at the moment. We've not having any rain at this moment in time, but Gasly's still looking at the bike of Nico Hülkenberg. But Esteban Ocon, he's thinking, I might make a move on Lando Norris here, and Esteban Ocon is up into P11, and now on the back of Magnussen in P10. Ocon making his way through the field rather well as he goes to the inside, gets the job done, up into P10. Will he fancy an attack on the Mercedes in front of him? Who knows? Lap 17, and we've got Ocon and Magnussen. These two have been going at it for the last few laps, exchanging places. Maybe Hülkenberg might fancy a dive down the inside. He certainly does. And Esteban Ocon down into P12. It must be said, our tyres are dying off now compared to the medium runners. If we take this as note for tomorrow, we've got to be looking at around 15 laps maybe on the soft compound tyre as an optimal range, and then the mediums seem to be the way to go. We may try a one-stop tomorrow. I've not ruled that out as of yet. But Pierre Gasly as well, he's down to P15. He's fighting with the Williams of Zhou Guanyu. Lance Stroll is in the lead. He's got the fastest lap, and at the moment, he's the fastest man on circuit. He's got a very keen Checo Perez behind him in P2. Fernando Alonso and Verstappen a little bit further back. But it's a battle between Stroll and Perez for the win here in the Austrian sprint. And what is the one thing we said we didn't want to see today? And it was any of our cars getting involved in accidents, and this has just happened. Pierre Gasly fighting with Zhou Guanyu. He's not being aggressive on the overtake. He turns in, they touch, and then touch once again. It looked a bit malicious, that second one from Zhou Guanyu. Pierre Gasly is going, he's touched the wing. He's on the last lap anyway. I'm not overly concerned about that. I'm more concerned about his engine and his gearbox, if I'm completely honest. He's damaged his front wing. Doesn't appear to have caused major damage to any of the sort of engine parts, so we're okay with that. But Pierre Gasly will be finishing this Grand Prix in P16. Meanwhile, Esteban Ocon has got one more lap to defend to hold on to P10, which would be a fantastic result. So one lap to go, and Pierre Gasly has received a penalty as well for turning in to Zhou Guanyu. We're actually, there's no point in holding this out. We may as well retire the car. I believe, if I can remember how to do it. It's been a week or so since I've been on this, so just bear with me. But yeah, I think retiring the car makes sense for Pierre Gasly. There's no point in carrying on. Whereas Pierre Gasly, he's going to be out. Esteban Ocon has got one lap to defend here, so we'll just speed this on a little bit as they come on the run-up to turn 3. Is Pierre Gasly going to be able here? We're going to push on the fuel. We're going to deploy on the ERS and see if we can get back past Nico Hulkenberg in this DRS zone. Let's have a look. We are burning ERS. We've got the DRS. Can he get past him? Goes to the outside. I think Hulkenberg's got this in the bag, if I'm honest. 33% on the tyres. He tries to make it stick. Round the outside does Esteban Ocon. Can he get back past the Haas? It doesn't look like he can. And as we just speed this round a little bit, I think we're going to see Esteban Ocon come home in P11. Lance Stroll wins from Checo Perez. We see Hamilton and Russell a distant P7 and 8. Ocon in P11. It's not been the worst day for him. It's not been the best. But Pierre Gasly will be very, very disappointed with that penalty. Let's get now to the strategy for the full feature race. And remember, we're starting from the back. Right then, guys, we are going to split the strategy here. Esteban Ocon is going to be a little bit more aggressive. He's going to start on the soft, go on to the mediums, then another set of mediums. We might go on to the softs depending on how they work out. But Pierre Gasly is going to be on mediums and then go on to the hards. He's going to run long, hopefully get a late safety car. That might really work for Pierre. But P19, P20, let's see what we can do. I'm not expecting much from this race, but you just never know.
Here among the Austrian mountains, the grid is now set for the 71 laps of the Red Bull Ring. And for that man, Mick Schumacher, this could be an interesting race.
What can they manage from 18th? It'll be interesting to see, that's for sure.
This should certainly be a good one, folks. It's the race we've all been waiting for. It's the Austrian Grand Prix. And it's lights out and all.
And away we're going straight away. Stroll and Perez doing battle at the front. Stroll this time covers him off lovely. He's going to have the lead into turn one. Meanwhile, Esteban Ocon straight away looking to make moves on this soft compound tyre. We have got an incident on track. Straight away, yellow flags in sector 1. That looks like a couple of Mercedes. I'm not going to lie. I think the two Mercedes have come together. Let's have a little look at this. It's Russell and Hamilton. And oh my word, Toto Wolff is going to be smashing some headphones about, because that, one's on the soft, one's on the medium, and it's took both of the Mercedes out of the race. We've got another traffic jam here, but my word, that is a shocking incident on lap 1. We've seen a few more of these at the moment. But Ocon and Gasly now up to P17 and P18 and have actually got two Mercedes behind them. Fancy that. Lap 8 and the Andrettis are starting to make their way through the pike. Pierre Gasly on the medium compound tyre, getting past the Hugo Boss car. I believe that's an Audi he's got in front of him. It is. I think it's Mick Schumacher, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, Pierre Gasly now up into P16. It's actually Valtteri Bottas he's got behind him. He's got Esteban Ocon. He's already up to P14. At this moment in time, so he's doing rather well. Pierre Gasly is really having a look at the back of the Audi sport car of Valtteri Bottas, and what we're going to try and do here is get Pierre Gasly past him on the DRS straight and then use the ERS to catch back up with his teammate. And talk about pace, Pierre Gasly switching that ERS on and bursting past the Audi of Valtteri Bottas. His challenge now is to catch up with his teammate, catch this next gaggle of cars in front, and then hopefully we can go from there. But Pierre Gasly up into P15, Ocon into P14. Looking good so far, as Ocon might fancy a move here. Let's just stick with this through the next DRS straight. We are getting massively held up by the McLaren of Oscar Piastri, and really we could get past him here. Let's have a little look at what tyres everybody's on. We've got a few medium runners in front of us. I would not be surprised to see Esteban Ocon take a couple of risks and get past these two cars in front. And as I said that, Oscar Piastri, let's have a little look at this one. It's a similar sort of move. Ocon goes around the outside and he just touches the McLaren of Oscar Piastri. He lets his teammate go, as we can see Gasly burning past him. But that has caused Esteban Ocon to have a damaged front wing. So Ocon now, we've got to make some changes. We'll have a look at them and come back very shortly. But Gasly, he's up to P13, so take the positive. Lap 11, a little bit later on, Pierre Gasly manages to get past Oscar Piastri. Esteban Ocon is actually sticking with it with the front wing at the moment, so we're not going to choose to make any changes. But Pierre Gasly is up into P11, and he's actually now on the cusp of the points paying positions, but he's got a 4-second gap to close on Hulkenberg in front. Looks like Hamilton's got a penalty. I'm not sure if anybody has for the incident with Esteban Ocon. Hamilton's actually in the pits now. But as we keep an eye on Pierre Gasly, he's now fighting once again with Yuki Tsunoda. These two really need to work together to catch up to Hülkenberg in front, because that 5-second gap could be absolutely huge. We'll keep an eye on Esteban's lap times, but Piastri and Ocon going at it again on lap 11, but Ocon this time is past him. Stroll is still leading his teammate, is Fernando Alonso, who's in P2, and Checo Perez, he's fancying a dive down the inside here. He manages to get past Fernando Alonso, and the Red Bull is up into P2. Verstappen has not got the pace this weekend. He's in P5. I think he's got some worn engine parts on, has Max Verstappen, so something to bear in mind there. Sainz P6, Albon P7, then comes Magnussen, Zhou, Norris, Hülkenberg, and then Tsunoda and Gasly. Ocon at the moment just managing the damage. And on lap 15, if people keep making mistakes, it's going to benefit Pierre Gasly. He is Magnussen locked up, and that benefited Pierre because he is now, I believe, up into P10 as he gets the DRS as well down that straight. Pierre Gasly now into P11. He's got Hülkenberg in front of him. We are considering switching Pierre on to a 2-stop here, since he is really our only runner left in this race. But Pierre Gasly at the moment up in P11. Lap 21, Esteban Ocon is in to the pits for his pit stop. We are thinking of switching Pierre Gasly. I'm really unsure, if I'm totally honest, whether to stick with a 1-stop or go for the 2-stop. I'm really considering making this a 1-stop for Pierre Gasly. As Esteban Ocon comes into the pits, it's 2.8 seconds. We've decided not to change the wing. He's not losing that much pace. So Esteban is going to come out in I'd suggest 19. Let's have a little look at where is George Russell and Valtteri Bottas. He's dragging him along with him. He's actually going to come out in front of the Mercedes. So he's out there. We would possibly come out in a nice gap with Pierre Gasly at the moment. But I'm thinking the 1-stop may work for us. Lap 21. Long way to go. Key moment in Pierre Gasly's battle with Yuki Tsunoda. He got the DRS. He went to the inside with Pierre Gasly. And Yuki Tsunoda in the Hugo Boss went skiing off at turn 1. Now, we have decided to go for the 1-stop. We're going to do something totally different here. I'm hoping that it's going to aid Pierre Gasly and get him up. He's just topping up a little bit of ERS at this moment in time. Ocon's not having the best time at the back either. Maybe a well-timed safety car would work very well for Pierre Gasly as well. So something else to bear in mind. But at the moment, Pierre Gasly is doing his bit. He's sticking in there. And we reckon he can get these tyres to 30-odd laps. And that allows us to then stick on the hard compound tyre. Meanwhile, Ocon's battling with Bottas. It's really not going to work for Esteban Ocon today. But as you can see in front of us, Perez is out. Albon, Hülkenberg, all out in front of us. But Pierre Gasly, promoted up to P7 now, he's keeping the Ferrari at bay. And if he can make these tyres last as long as possible, this could be a really decent shout for Pierre. Lap 25, Stroll still leads. We've had another crash on circuit, and it looks like it's Esteban Ocon again. And this time, the Audi just clips him. I mean, he squeezed him. Let me know down in the comments. Was that a little bit too aggressive from Esteban Ocon? It caused a yellow flag. What it hasn't done is caused a safety car, which would have been absolutely ideal for Pierre Gasly. There's a few disappointed faces in the Andretti Cadillac garage, but Esteban Ocon now, that front wing has took some hammer, but still continues on. He's driving it like a destruction derby car today. Meanwhile, Pierre Gasly just tottering along nicely in P8. Like I say, he's only got one pit stop to make. We are going to try and make these tyres last as long as they possibly can. Then we'll make a pit stop and we'll go from there. Lap 27, Gasly still P8. Ocon just attracting other cars. Lap 32, Pierre Gasly is coming in for his one and only pit stop in this race. He's going to lose a few positions here. We'll see if this 1-stop pays off. We've not really made the correct decisions this weekend. But we haven't had the pace, so we've had to try something different. So why not be different? It's a 2.6 second stop time, which is something I'm particularly pleased to see. As he's coming now, we've got Esteban Ocon. Is he going past him? He certainly is, as is Yuki Tsunoda. Pierre Gasly is going to come out, still trundling down the pit lane. He's going to come out behind Valtteri Bottas. But now he's got to just take his time, get these tyres. I don't want to kill these tyres. We'll go up to temperature and go from there. He's got a long stint now as Pierre Gasly on this hard compounded tyre. Perez is leading from Alonso, but it looks like these two are going to be battling away all afternoon. Meanwhile, Lance Stroll's lost a couple of positions. He's now down in P4, so not great from him. Gasly, a lot of work to do. Esteban Ocon is not having a particularly good day. He's just gone and done this. He nearly came back on and took out the Hugo Boss of Danny Ricciardo, but it wasn't doing his tyres any good. But now Pierre Gasly is on the back of him, so I'm hoping now Esteban is just going to be told, do not fight your teammate, get out of the way, and let Pierre Gasly pass. I'm hoping he does it at a reasonable point, which probably just after the apex would be ideal. As he now gets out of the way, lets his teammate through and releases Pierre Gasly. Pierre Gasly is the one at the moment that we're banking on to get us some sort of points in this race. But lap 40, Perez still leads from Alonso. The gap to Leclerc is now 6 seconds, and Gasly's got a chase on for the 2 Hugo Boss cars of Ricciardo and Tsunoda. And talk about making it look easy, Pierre Gasly on Danny Ricciardo gets the DRS up towards turn 3, and by the time he gets to the braking zone, it's pretty much job done for Pierre, which is fantastic. We can see Ocon trundling behind him as well, but Pierre Gasly now setting his sights on Yuki Tsunoda. 85% tyres. We've still got the option of going onto the softs at the end, should we wish. So we're not totally out of this yet. By any stretch of the imagination. We're just going to tell him to push on a little bit now and drop Ricciardo if he can, and get up towards the back of Yuki Tsunoda. But lap 42, Perez leading, Gasly 13th. Lap 48, and Pierre Gasly manages to overtake Nico Hülkenberg, and it's not going to be the hardest overtake you've ever seen, because I think on the right hand side we're going to see Nico Hülkenberg, we didn't get it on camera, going off track, and now Gasly is on the back of Yuki Tsunoda. A well-timed safety car for Gasly would be absolutely crucial, as we see Magnussen now coming into the pits. Gasly is going to get past Magnussen, and he's looking at the back of Yuki Tsunoda as well. He's been doing all right on fuel, doing all right on everything as Pierre Gasly. We know he can manage tyres, and now he's got this DRS. This is only going to aid him as we see Magnussen into the pits. Gasly is going to be way past him. And let's not count out the appropriateness of Esteban Ocon in this race, because he can hold cars up should they pit, which he tends to be doing at this moment in time. So Esteban Ocon is just a blocker at this moment in time. He's a moving roadblock, and it's working very, very well. Pierre Gasly is up into P11, chasing P10. And you know, when you think it couldn't get any worse, Esteban Ocon has a puncture. We need to get Esteban Ocon now into the pits. He's going to go onto a set of medium compounder tyres towards the end of this race. But Esteban Ocon has had a shocking afternoon, and this is only aiding it because he has got a puncture, although he's fighting with Daniel Ricciardo as well. With Lewis Hamilton. He's into the pits, is Esteban Ocon, and this really, we could have retired the car at this point, but I don't see the necessity to. He may as well come in. He can cause a little bit more grief if he wants. But yeah, puncture for Esteban Ocon. It's not been his day at all. 3-second pit stop, and he will return out possibly around P19, I'm suggesting. So yeah, P19 for Esteban. Gasly still cooking along in P9. It's working well. Pierre Gasly has just lost a position, but this might not be the worst thing in the world, because Zhou Guanyu has got past him on the soft compound tyre. Now, obviously Gasly's on the hards, but what this is going to allow, hopefully if we can stay with him, is to just stick in the DRS, just try and hold on to the back of that Williams. And at the moment, he's doing more than that. He's also conserving a little bit of fuel on the right-hand side. If we can ensure that we can keep Zhou Guanyu fighting for this position, we may be able to get a couple of World Championship points here today. And at the moment, Gasly's got back past, so fair play to him. We got 15 laps to go. This is a battle for points. And by lap 61, it's not Zhou Guanyu, it is Kevin Magnussen who is attacking Pierre Gasly. We can see Zhou Guanyu in the background. He did make a little error, which has cost him. Magnussen's got past him. Magnussen on the medium compound of tyre. And now Pierre Gasly once again. Can he stick with this Haas car? It would be a cracking result today. If he can get any sort of point for the team, I would be absolutely delighted. And what this is going to allow him to do now, just hold on to the back of this. Let's have a look at Magnussen's tyres. They're in much better nick, but he is going to get DRS. These 3 DRS zones are absolutely key for Pierre Gasly in this last 10 laps. If he can hold on to the back of this Haas car, we are laughing. But as we're looking at the left-hand side, it's not looking like it's going to come easy, because it's 0.6 of a second, up to 0.5. He's defending fresh air there, Kevin Magnussen, possibly avoiding the curbs. He has got a little bit of DRS to use as well as Pierre Gasly, so there's a lot in his locker. P10 looks like it's on the cards. but P9 would be ideal. Meanwhile, Alonso's leading from Perez. It's a two-horse fight for the lead at the front. The top 10 is Stroll, Leclerc, Verstappen, Sainz, Albon, Norris, Magnussen and Gasly. The two Mercedes, 14th and 20th, they're having a worse weekend than us. Esteban Ocon carrying damage is down in P18, so it's all on Pierre Gasly to try and hold on to the back of this Haas. We have got a late virtual safety car. Oh my word, it's a Mercedes. George Russell, I think this is Valtteri Bottas, I might be wrong, just smash into each other at turn 1. And I think that sums it up for George Russell today, that little team radio. That is very disappointing indeed. I mean, this guy here, he's not even angry. He's just disappointed. So there's a big crash. Ocon, he's going to get 17th. But Pierre Gasly, this VSC helps him massively. Because what this will allow him to do is just conserve the tyres and just cruise home. We've not got long left at all. One other man that'll be happy with this is Fernando Alonso. Because now, 1.3 seconds is the gap to Checo Perez. And this is going to help his tyres as well. 3 laps to go. Will we get back to green flag running? And honestly, I think George Russell and Esteban Ocon are fighting it out for worst driver of the day. And Esteban Ocon's just gone and done that. He's smashed it into the barriers. The car's retired. I pray to God that he has not smashed that engine up, because that has cost me a lot of money if he's done that. Pierre Gasly at the moment just got to get these tyres back up to temperature. But it's going to be P10, but still we're under VSC. Fernando Alonso has won the Austrian Grand Prix. Fantastic work from him. You can see Pierre Gasly in front of him there. If he'd had lapped Pierre Gasly, we would have finished. But as we can see, Fernando Alonso celebrating in the cockpit. But we've still got a bit of a race to run. Pierre Gasly has got to cruise round. We're just going to speed this up a little bit. He's not under any sort of pressure, Pierre Gasly. We don't even need to be pushing on the fuel. I'm more conscious about getting the car home in one piece. But you've got to set today for Pierre as we just speed this round to the last couple of corners. Pierre Gasly from the back of the grid getting a World Championship point. Esteban Ocon not managing it. Obviously had that crash early doors. He spun out in the end. But Pierre Gasly will cross the line. It's a World Championship point for Andretti on a track that, it must be said, did really not suit us. Let's get to the podium.
Now Esteban Ocon won't be in a hurry to talk about that race today.
That'll be quite a blow, having to cut their race short, but they'll be doing everything they can to come back stronger.
That man up there is certainly no stranger to an F1 podium. Always great to see Fernando in the top 3.
We're starting to see a lot of green on these podiums, and Aston Martin are showing a lot of pace. You've got to say, they look like they could be contenders for both the drivers and constructors titles at this moment in time. Fair play to the Aston Martin boys. Job well done. Fernando Alonso winning by a second to Checo Perez. Lance Stroll in P3. We then go to Charles Leclerc, Verstappen in P5. It's a good day for Williams. They get a P7. McLaren get P8. Haas and Kevin Magnussen P9. Pierre Gasly gains 10 places for Andretti and gets a World Championship point. Esteban Ocon and George Russell were the two retirees, and it must be said, both had a shocking day at the Red Bull Ring. Driver standings wise, Max Verstappen is on 214 points. Checo Perez is on 182. He's not running away with it quite as much this year. Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso aren't that far back either. Pierre Gasly is in P8 on 27 points, stays ahead of Magnussen and Hamilton, believe it or not, who gains a position over Esteban Ocon with the 2 points that he scored from the sprint race. Constructor standings wise, Red Bull lead the way, but Aston Martin closed the gap. It's now, my word, 118 points it is between the Red Bulls and Aston Martins. Ferrari in P3, Mercedes P4. We are in P5. We have a gap of 17 points to Williams in P6. Hope you've enjoyed that one. Little bit chaotic, that race. Little bit messy, I think is what I would say for the weekend. Didn't quite get everything right there in terms of the drivers, everything. But we will come back stronger at the next Grand Prix. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Ta-ra.